Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. On Fridays, we talk about the product owner role in Scrum. We talk about patterns and anti-patterns that relate to ours and the team's collaboration with the product owner. And we've also put together a course to help you navigate that relationship. There's 18 modules, nearly 8 hours of tools, techniques, videos, handouts, presentations you can use to help you and your team work better with your product owner. The course is available at bit.ly/coachyourPO. All lowercase, all one word, that's bit.ly/coachyourPO. And now, on to the show, the Product Owner Show. Hello everybody, welcome to our Friday, the TGIF, but also Product Owner episode this week with Ludmila Reyter. Hi Ludmila, welcome back.
Hey Vasco.
So we talk about product owners on Friday because, of course, product owners are a critical stakeholder when working with Scrum teams. And first we try to kind of assess what might be an anti-pattern so that we understand how to handle it and be ready for it. So share with us, Ludmila, to get us started, what might have been the worst product owner anti-pattern you've observed?
I can say that for me, the worst anti-pattern so far was the product owners who are at the same time the direct managers of the team, or also quite difficult to have product owners in a split role. So a person having 3 different roles in the organization, and one of that is a product owner. Both of the things I think could also work out. It really depends on how the person is aware of this role differences, but I actually saw it not working out at all. And talking then, of course, with the product owners about their perception of the different roles already helps quite a lot. But sometimes, especially when it's a product owner who has really limited time for the team or for this topic, and maybe even is at the same time the team lead, it gets into a really bad cycle of, I actually don't have enough time, so I will just tell you exactly what you need to do, and I just don't give any room for us collaborating on this topic. This is definitely one thing, and what also then goes hand in hand with kind of this behavior I saw was that I didn't have a product owner to team up with, to kind of partner together on the topics. I was then more perceived as the team secretary, which I'm also happy to be if this is needed for some time. But if I don't really have the other person there to actually being a cool team with me, then it made things a bit difficult.
I was just thinking, so what you're talking about, being a cool team with you, is that between you as a Scrum Master and the product owner?
Yes, because of course, I want to have a whole Scrum team as a team, or this is how I see it, but even the product owner and the Scrum Master was being like the 2 single person roles in the Scrum team setup. It makes it a bit special, and I had a really good example with a product owner that I was actually kind of teaming up with, and we had a really good relationship with each other, but also then with the team, of course, and this worked out really well. So to have this also kind of dynamic duo next to a really great development team, where also the product owner was also able to very well communicate even in these all directions, and whether it is to the development team or with the stakeholders. So when we go back, or if we go then further to what would then a good product owner actually look like, the one that I saw that were really successful were those who actually had this ability to really easily communicate into the different departments, organizational levels, being able to simplify maybe quite high technical things for those who are not really in the technical environment, but also to simplify linguistically maybe the requirements for everyone else involved, to just kind of make this translation easier for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. When you talked about the dynamic duo, what came to mind? We have this coach your product owner course that we sell together with the podcast, so you can find the link easily on the show notes. But what came to mind is that the Scrum Master and the product owner, they form a system that then enables the team to succeed, right? Because the team needs the product owner. Like without the product owner, the team either becomes the product owner or fails because they don't know what to do, or it isn't clear what to do, or they don't know the customer, whatever. There's all kinds of problems. But then the other thing is that the team without a Scrum Master that is able to bring in their perspective and help them, overcome those obstacles that they inevitably face, they will also fail. So if we put these two together, like the PO that helps the team have clarity on what to do, and the Scrum Master that helps the team figure out how to solve the problems and give them the thinking tools and so on that they need to solve the problems, clearly these two need to work well together. And it is for me quite a surprise, or it was, because it isn't anymore. But when Scrum started, the PO was kind of an outsider. Like there's this old pig chicken discussion, a joke that was in the original book. And what I hear now from you is that at the end of the day, the Scrum Master and the PO are actually also team members, and they can't be outsiders that just pop in and drop some notes and go away.
I think this is actually the beauty and the challenge of this Scrum team then, or maybe also of the Scrum setup, because every element, of course, is valuable, and if you take one away, it's, yes, as you said, it needs to be substituted by someone else, or something is just missing. But it's also the difficulty or the challenge to be at the same time part of something and being able, or being necessary to step out from it and to look at it maybe a little bit from the outside. So when I'm thinking now more about maybe the challenge then from the Scrum Master role, because we are part of the Scrum team, but at the same time, I also step out, I look from it at it from the outside and maybe go to some other parts of the organization then. And I think for the product owner, the range of responsibilities available or possibly there for you to actually need to take responsibility on. So whether it is from this whole business strategy level down to roadmap planning, whatever else is there, I think this is really wide range, and I find it quite challenging to have everything in the control or in the range of one person. And of course, what usually also happens is that it moves to someone else, or the responsibilities are more taken over by someone else from the team.
Or then the gaps just emerge, right? Because sometimes, the balls just drop and things go wrong because one person, maybe the PO or the Scrum Master or whatever, is not taking ownership, and the team is not stepping up because they don't even expect that they should step up.
Yes, and so I think the product owner, each of these roles has their challenges and is vital for this whole setup to work. But I realize more and more now that I kind of also get out of my own maybe first years of learning what the Scrum Master role actually is. It's now that I see that actually I find the product owners maybe even in the more challenging role to having to answer on a lot of levels to different responsibilities. And I also saw the famous proxy product owner that was just there to write tickets, and no one was happy with that setup. So I think
and literally no one, not even the proxy PO, is happy with that.
No one, no. And there, I think we are back at this dance that we just need to see, okay, who do we have I mean, this is people that we are talking about. Yes, we are having these roles and have kind of maybe a clear view of how this could or should maybe work out. But then we need to see, okay, who do I actually have here? Who's working together? In what organization? And well, sometimes we are lucky and it comes together and it's it's fun and is perfect. But yeah, most of the times, as I said, it's a dance and you just need to adapt.
Absolutely. Talking about dance, let's take a different tune and talk about what might have been potentially, Ludmila, in your career, the best product owner you've worked with. So share with us, what were their, superpowers? How did they work with the teams?
I think basically also to what I said before. So a great product owner that I worked with was actually also my direct manager and also the direct manager of a team that we worked with. But it was not a problem at all because he was really transparent about also his roles and about also the difficulties that this might actually then arise through this. And he was aware of that and he communicated that all the time. So this was someone who clearly was over communicating to a point that I also thought, okay, maybe you already said that yesterday, that's okay. But this was actually really valuable. And he did not only over communicate with the team or with me, but also on every level with the organization, on also different channels, whether it is on Slack or in meetings or in emails or updating everyone regularly, proactively. And him just doing this all the time already put a lot of pressure off from but also the team shoulders, because we already knew what kind of things might be coming from the stakeholders. I don't know. We just really had a good framework around us because we were getting so many informations. So sometimes I think when the information is missing and you don't really know how the flow actually is set up and where your information is coming from, you also feel quite insecure about what the future holds.
One of the aspects of this communication, and something that POs can actually help product owners with, is also to understand who to communicate to. Because communicating is important, but saying the right things to the wrong people is not going to solve the problem. So,
yeah,
when you look at this product owner, like, how did they or how did he identify the critical stakeholders, the persons he needed to involve and communicate with?
Well, he was just really active, I guess. So he was also just walking around a lot. So he was everywhere and talking to everyone. So also quite naturally, from his nature, a very communicative person. So I think this helped a lot because, without talking to the people, you won't get the right information also. Another, actually, I can't really tell you how else he did it. I think it was also quite clear just from the setup that we had, that who we needed to talk to.
Absolutely. And probably that person had some kind of a sixth sense of, where the questions are going to come from and who they should talk to proactively and share their, the knowledge, the things that they needed to share. It's just rather interesting because I've seen this happening also in my career. And it's always puzzled me. How do these people know who to talk to, right? Like who to rope in and who to, who to involve or who to consult? Because for me, it's very hard work for me as a Scrum Master to know who to involve. I need to do mind maps and ask myself questions and kind of, ask myself, okay, so if I were that person, what kind of question would they have or would I have in their shoes? And like for me, it's just so hard work that it's for me always like puzzling and at the same time kind of almost a miracle to see these people like the PO you just described that instinctively know who to talk to.
Yeah, this is actually what I thought about when you asked me how he identified the stakeholders, because I don't think that he made any mind maps or wrote everything down. He just knew the people. I think it is when you're on the one side really passionate about the product, on the other side a very communicative person, so you will talk to everyone about your product, and it is easier for you to also build good relationships. Then it's already a really big step and a helpful step to being also successful in this communications with everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And building relationship is so critical. And we as Scrum Masters can help the POs with that. Ludmila, it's been a pleasure. It's been a great week filled with insights. Unfortunately, we're getting close to the end. So before we go, do share with us, where can we find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
I'd say probably on LinkedIn. I'm not that active on other channels right now, but if you're on LinkedIn, then you can of course always contact me and we can chat and share information.
Absolutely. Ludmila, it's been a pleasure. So thank you very much for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Thanks for having me, Vasco. It was fun.
One more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast is over. But there's a lot more we have to share. We have developed our own membership site where you find a community of active and engaged Scrum Masters. In this site, you get access to exclusive content and get to interact with us, your podcast hosts, as well as the best Scrum Masters in the world. Join us at scrummastertoolbox.com/podcast and keep this podcast free of advertising. See you next week for one more week full of Scrum Master tips and tricks. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.